Hi, third graders, it's Mr. Barrett again. Today we're in day 2 of our study of decimals. Today is called Count and Write. What we're going to do today is make small piles of coins and practice counting up the change. And then we're going to write the value of those coins in expanded form, standard form, and word form. And I'm going to explain to you what all of those words mean. A quick note to parents, what we're doing today is really taking our first walk into writing decimals in decimal form. I know that your children are pretty good at counting up a pile of change. We're going to use just dimes and pennies today. Pretty confident they'll be able to count that up and know, hey, that's 51 cents, let's say. But we're going to take our first walk today into writing that as 0.51 or 51 hundredths. They're not going to know terms like tenths and hundredths. They might not know a lot about what the decimal form is. We're just going to stress that it's a familiar form they've seen, like written on a price tag. We're kind of going to take that familiar format and really drive home. This is what decimals are as part of a whole. So that's the goal for today, is to get them to write this change, not just as 51, but as 51 cents, 0.51. Okay, here's what we need for today. Just your dimes and pennies from the things that we sorted out yesterday. So just your pile of dimes and pennies. Small cups, muffin cups, little tiny containers of any kind, really. Paper and pencil. And you can either make the day 2 worksheet along with me right now, or you can print out the day 2 activity page if that's easier for you, if you have a printer at home. I'm going to show you now how to make the worksheet that we need for today to record all the great work that we're going to do. So if you're not going to print out today's day 2 activity worksheet, it's really simple to make. I'm going to show you how to make it now. In the top left-hand corner, we're going to write day 2, and day 2 is count and write. Count and write. And then over here, we're going to leave space for our name, just like our real worksheet. Name, there we go. And next, we're going to create 6 kind of activity rows. And the first thing we need in our activity row is a circle. This is where I'm going to put my cup of change or make my pile of change. And then an arrow followed by 3 blanks. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to make 6 of these. If you can fit them all on one page, great. If you can't, you can feel free to go onto the back or onto another page. But it's just going to be the exact same thing right below. Another circle, and then 3 blanks. Pretty simple. We want a total of 6 of these for activity today. The last thing we do before to create this worksheet is we're going to label these columns of blanks. The first one is going to be that thing I mentioned before called expanded form. I'm going to teach you what that is. Expanded form. Next is going to be standard form. Standard form is sometimes called, people call it like the normal way of writing numbers. Standard form is probably the way you're most familiar with when you see things written as a price on a price tag at the grocery store or something. And the final one is going to be word form. That's the words that we use when we're reading the number. We're actually going to spell them out and write them out. Okay? The last thing we need to do before we really dive into the activity is make our cups of change. So I've got remember when we sorted our change yesterday? I asked you to sort them all into quarters, nickels, dimes, and pennies. We're using just the dimes and pennies today. And then you're going to use your other cups. And we're going to begin to make those 6 cups of change. So what I'm going to do is take just kind of a small pinch of dimes and pennies. I'm going to put some dimes and some pennies in each one. Okay? Some dimes and some pennies. And then in 2, we're going to do that 4 times. And then in 2 of the cups, I want you to, in 1 cup actually, 2 cups are going to be a little bit different. So in 1 cup, I want you to put just a couple pennies. And in another cup, I want you to put just a few dimes, only dimes in that one. Okay, so I've got 4 cups, pennies and dimes, and 2 cups, one with just dimes and one with just pennies. And now we're ready to start today's activity. So now that we've had our worksheet made or printed out and we've got our cups of change, we're all set to start today's activity. I'm going to pick one of my cups and set it right here on this first blank. And I'm going to count this up and then write the decimal that I count for my change in expanded form, in standard form, and in word form. Let's do one together. So I'm going to dump out my change here and see that I've got, 4 dimes and 3 pennies. And thinking of this as, that's 43 cents, by the way, right? Thinking of this as 4 dimes and 3 pennies is a great way to tackle expanded form. What it does is take the normal way of writing a number and expands it into its parts. In this case, into its tenths and hundredths, or into its dimes and pennies. So I'm going to write in expanded form the dimes first, so that's 40 cents. And if you've ever seen a price tag at a grocery store or something at a bake sale, 40 cents looks like this. We've got no dollars. This is where the whole dollars go. We've got no whole dollars, but we have 4 dimes, 4 tenths, or 40 cents, 40 cents. And to that, we're going to add our pennies. I've got 3 pennies there, so that's 3 cents. And 3 cents is no dollars and 3 cents. It looks just like that. 43 cents is 40 cents and 3 cents, or 4 tenths and 3 hundredths. Okay, parents, again, our students don't know, I probably shouldn't use those tenths and hundredths. They don't know those yet. We're really just taking the first step into decimals in a familiar form of money. And so I'll just kind of refer them as dimes and pennies right now. Okay, 40 cents and 3 cents. Now we're going to write it in standard form. Or how would we write 43 cents if it was written like on a price tag? Well, we'd write it like this. No dollars and 43 cents, just like that. That's the standard form. Kind of, like I said, a lot of people call that the normal way of writing it, right? And then finally in word form, we're going to write 43 cents. So we're going to write 40. And then we're going to put a hyphen because 2-digit numbers have a hyphen in between when we write them out in word form. 43. 40. And today we're just going to write this little cent sign. We're really just practicing writing that number 43 in word form. Okay. Next, I'm going to do an example of just the pennies, okay? Because this is kind of a tricky one. But remember, I told you to make one of your stacks of coins in just pennies. So here we're going to do that. We're going to write, dump it out, and let's see. It looks like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 cents. I've got 5 cents right there. Okay. And in expanded form, I would really just write this. I could maybe say that there's no dimes at all, and then there's just these 5 pennies, okay? And or we could just really write those 5 cents there in expanded form. In standard form, it's going to look like this: 5 cents. And Mom and Dad, I really want you to look for something here. A very common mistake we'd see, and I'm going to write this in kind of red or pink to show that this is an error. And students, I want you to look out for this too. A very common error would be to write this as like this, okay? Because you're like, oh, I got 5, and then so 0.5, and I would write it like that, maybe 50. Well, this is actually means 50 cents, right? Not 5 cents. So if we want to put 5 cents, just 5 pennies, it would go all the way over here into the hundredths on the very end. 5 cents. Again, if you put it right after the decimal point, it would mean 50, even if you don't want it to mean 50. So we're going to watch that for that mistake and make sure we try not to do that. And Mom and Dad, you can have your students redo that if they do happen to fall into that very, very common mistake. Okay. Finally, we're going to write the number 5 in word form. We're going to write 5. Just like that. And I'm going to put my cent sign in there because I'm working in money. Okay, now you're going to repeat that process. You're going to do it a total of 6 times. And if you're really on your own thinking, man, I'm really getting this, feel free to do more than that. But I want at least 6 of those down on the page. And that's all for today for counting and writing decimals, day 2. If you're looking for an extra challenge today, I know some of you are probably looking for a challenge. You might think, hey, I did a pretty good job with that. I was working hard, and I think I got them all. And my mom and dad and my older brother or sister checked them. I think I've got them all right. If you're really looking for a challenge today, at the beginning I asked you to just do a small pinch of coins, of dimes and pennies. Well, if you want, you could try and make a little handful of dimes and pennies in there, something that makes over 99 cents. And you could try and think, how would I write that? Or how have I seen things that are over $1 written in the store? We've just focused today on things that are underneath 100 cents or $1. You might, as a challenge today, try and take a bigger handful of change and count it up and think, what would this look like being written as a decimal? And how would I write that? How have I seen things written in the store that are over $1 or maybe even over $2? And have an older brother or sister or mom and dad check that. You could even take it to office hours and have your teachers check it when you see them this afternoon. Have a great day, and we'll see you all tomorrow.